people say that we're a reflection of the people around us, it's not as direct as they make it sound. What we are doing is interpreting people in the way that we interpret ourselves in our own reality. So I may be annoyed with you and find you annoying because you talk a lot. But I may find myself annoying because I talk a lot. And people always told me you shouldn't talk a lot. Or maybe it's a different way. Maybe I don't talk enough. And I never really talked much. I just don't feel like I have much to say, or I don't like talking. So it's a reflection of how I interpret my reality back to me. Because I feel like everybody talks too much, and I've never been one to really talk much. It's a way to get me to understand this is a part of the process of life. We may have nothing in common in that way, but we have things that we have to learn from each other, because I feel it's important for it to not be so black and white. People who have been gaslit, which is kind of being made a false reality or presented a false reality. They may look at this and think, am I a bad person? You know, if I'm a reflection of everyone around me, are they only behaving this way because I'm doing bad things? And I'm being mean to them like they're being mean to me, and I just don't see it? Maybe the case is you treat yourself poorly. You don't respect yourself. You don't respect your boundaries. You let people run over you, say whatever they want to say to you, do whatever they want to do to you. This person doesn't behave in the same way. They treat you how you've always been treated. It's not you treating them like that, so they treat you the same way. A reflection is basically the law of attraction, I feel. You're receiving the things that you're putting out into the universe. So you keep feeling like you don't deserve people to talk to you nice, treat you good, treat you with respect. So that's what you attract. Reflections. People who treat you the way that you already view yourself. Maybe not in the same direct way, but in the same way. And we have to realize that even when people hurt us, it's usually because they've been hurt themselves. So a lot of the times we have the same scars that they have. And we just react in different ways. So you may be one to get upset and get angry and treat people like they're less than you because you always felt less than. Or you may be one to get sad and feel like everyone is above you and you're worthless and you're nothing, because that's how you were always treated. A lot of the times we end up with people who are like us or who have similar hurt as us, but we don't react in the same ways because we have lessons to teach each other. We have shadows to bring out of each other. One is to teach one, humble yourself. No one is less than you. One is to teach one, be confident in yourself. No one is above you. And they present themselves in toxic ways. But this is how we learn from our own hurt, by understanding people's perspectives on another end of the spectrum. We balance each other out. And it's more than just these examples, right? It's more than just the relationship type examples. Anybody that you meet, a random stranger on the street, And it's not always going to be absolutely opposite, but sometimes it is absolutely opposite. Sometimes you meet somebody who's exactly the same as you, right? Maybe the both of you are so stubborn and you don't know how to listen to other people's perspectives. So you bump heads all the time, and then there's always this, they never want to listen and they always do this, but that's how the both of you feel. And it brings something out of you where you realize, man, I should really start listening, because it annoys me so bad when they don't listen. Or maybe, you do it in different ways. Maybe one person is very vocal about how they don't want to hear what you have to say at all, and maybe the other person is more like within. They may hear you out, but they don't fully understand you. And I can relate to that, because that's literally me and someone else that I know. On the inside, I listen to people and I try and be hearing of them. I get quiet, I let them speak and I let them have their moment, but the whole time I'm not listening. I'm only hearing the words come out of their mouth. You know how people say, listen to understand and not listen to respond? Sometimes that's me. I listen to respond. And I get so upset when people listen and argue with me and never let me get my point across. Like out and vocally, like they'll be like, shut up, or they'll say, I don't want to hear it, I'm done, you disrespecting me, or whatever the case may be. I get so upset when people do that. But I have to learn that lesson, to really genuinely fully listen and not just hear. So when people say you're a reflection of the people around you, know that they aren't you, you aren't them, but you have parts of each other that can assist each other. That's all that means. It doesn't mean that you react and respond to trauma and hurt in the same way, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't. And sometimes we behave in certain ways, and that doesn't mean that they're functioning from our reality. What I mean by that is, sometimes, for example, I think I know why people behave certain ways, or I think that I completely get people because of that little quote, right? Everybody's a reflection of you. And why they react in certain ways, or what their reality is. And I don't. They don't respond in the same ways that I do. Sometimes I'll feel like people are upset and sad about certain situations because I will be upset and sad about certain situations. And maybe they are hurt, I don't know. And maybe they just react different ways. Or maybe they don't care at all. And they're not reacting because they really genuinely don't care. We all have shared energy, and we all relate to each other on a certain level, and we're all reflections of each other on a certain level, but we are not each other. Everybody is on their own path, on their own journey, doing their own thing, experiencing life their own way. We don't know people just because we know ourselves. Just because we hear that everybody is a reflection of us. We only interpret other people as a reflection of us. We see the things that we see in ourselves and other people because we can acknowledge our own reality. The same way that you cannot imagine things that do not exist in this world. Or that's what people say, at least, right? So you can imagine a dragon, which a dragon doesn't exist, but wings exist. Dinosaurs existed, snakes exist. Do you see what I'm saying? The components are there. So we make conclusions and assumptions based on what we already know in our life. But that doesn't make it the absolute truth. It only makes it our side of the truth. And I know we have to remember that. I have to remember that. And maybe you do too, if you're watching this. And maybe you don't, That's life.